When I originally spoke to J.J. Abrams about Star Trek, I put out 1,010,000 questions. What kind of materials we use, what kind of substance is happening 400 years from now. And J.J. said, watch the original series, base everything on that, and we'll go from there and sort of deal with what comes up as we go.
Set phasers to stun.
Russell Bobbitt, our prop master, had the big challenge of creating props that were very iconic.
The original series, 1967, everything was very futuristic. Well, we're in the year 2008, and we have to find the material to use that accommodates our future as we see it now, not the future as we saw it in 1967.
Acknowledged.
So the idea of the communicator, almost all of us in our back pocket have phones that are as powerful as that. So how do you do that and have it have any kind of meaning and have it be interesting?
It was really a challenge for him to kind of come up with something that was different and unique. So how do you make it familiar without it being gimmicky?
It wants to have a certain sense of like slightly rugged qualities if it's made for the field, it's made for, you know, these people who are trained to use all the equipment, so it's not like so consumery sleek.
The inventor of the first flip phone claims that he designed the flip phone based on the original series communicator. That was a really big breakthrough for me in researching and trying to figure out what that communicator should be. It should be the original series communicator, only a little better.
Spock to Enterprise, get us out now.
And here's our new communicator. It'll flip up, and you'll be able to actually see the person that you're speaking to. So this is our new tricorder. You'll push the button, and the panels will open. You can turn it on to scan the atmosphere, and then you push the button, and the lights scan. One of the key props in Star Trek, obviously, is the phaser. So we wanted to pull a few elements from the history of phasers. And what we came up with is this phaser, partially made out of aluminum and resins and a lot of tooled sort of bits. And there's a lot of characteristics of the old phaser in this phaser.
The new phaser's pretty cool. It's kind of a nod back to the original series phaser, which is great, but it has a new little spin on it.
JJ said to me, it'd be great if our phaser did something different than all other phasers. So what I did is I made a mechanical stun-to-kill unit, and I'm about to press this button here and show you how that works. Flips around. So this takes it from stun to kill.
This is not just shameless whatever, this is true. Every Christmas, me and my brother and my uncle exchange gifts, and there's always a Star Trek gift. So we have all the old tricorders, we have the phasers, and so I was checking out some of the new props from this movie, and there's definitely gonna be some props in my Christmas future.
Did you steal props?
Huh? No. I'm saying when they're made and they're bought and they, when the toys come out.
He stole props.
The jamming signal's gone. Communications are reestablished.
This is a very well-known prop in Star Trek. It's Uhura's earpiece. Whenever she's on the bridge, this is her way of communicating with other planets.
I was apprehensive. I'm like, does it have to be so big? Like, really, can't we just like make it more modern and make it really tiny?
I do think having a smaller version of this kind of thing would be cool.
We did one very small because it looked sexy, and we did one very large because it was very large in the original series, and ended up sort of falling in between a little bit and leaning more towards the original series so that we can make the statement of Uhura's earpiece.
Captain, we're being hailed.
I was by no means a Trekkie, and that was the first thing I said to JJ, and he said, good, we want it fresh. And JJ is so enthusiastic and so charming. You know, I kind of signed on to work with JJ. You know, he has this enthusiasm which is contagious.
What do you do with that pins? Use needles.
He didn't want it to be the Star Trek TV series that had come before, although he wanted to use that as a starting point as opposed to any of the films that had come afterward.
I found it kind of amazing that those great clothes from the original series, those different colored shirts, had never been used in the 10 films. And that was the idea, which was, you know, how do we embrace that?
This we would do like a nice neck on this. I like it. That was one area where we did not want to stray. And the last scene of the movie even describes the colors as a takeoff point for the TV series from the 60s. And so I wanted to do something different, but I didn't want to do anything that different.
This is what we'll see him in at the end. It has to be like he was made for this captain's uniform.
You know, Michael Kaplan, his first film was Blade Runner, and his approach to doing Blade Runner was how do they do that kind of film noir of the 30s and 40s and apply it to the future. And in this case, Michael went back and embraced the 60s, so it made it this very timeless look without it feeling dated, and it's kind of amazing what he's done.
The one thing that I was really clear on, though, was that the costumes be pretty simple, but I did want them to be interesting, and so I brought in a lot of very interesting fabrics and textures.
That's awesome.
Don't look at these things, but look at...
Oh my God, it's genius. How great is that? Can I borrow this?
There's an essence about Star Trek, and although I wasn't doing things that had been done before on Star Trek, I was still trying to keep it in the vernacular. And also doing little homages here and there, like Uhura, for example, in the TV series, always wore earrings. So I came up with some new earrings for Uhura.
I still have a bone to pick with Michael because I honestly feel like he kept shrinking like dress. But it just, if you look at Nichelle's costumes, they were very short and very beautiful. And I thought it was very interesting because usually you would expect a woman that holds authority in a sea of men to try to be more like them and hide her sexuality. And I like the fact that Michael and JJ just wanted to make it about she can be sex and she still holds authority and they respect her. And I was like, oh, you know what, I like that. So, you know, keep shrinking those dresses. I guess I don't mind.
It's our first engineer. I have no comment on the matter.
I tried to create the costumes that would make sense in terms of the civilization. Most of the Vulcans have an elegance to them in their fabrics, and the palette is kind of warm earth tones. They also mostly have drapery around the neck, or high collars, or turtlenecks that become hoods. Also, the women had a kind of corset that they wore, which changed the silhouette. I was thinking of, you know, through the periods, the silhouettes change in this world, and so I wanted to come up with something that had not been done before. And what I came up with was almost like a shelf that the women would have. Not a very sensual shape, you know, it was kind of austere.
Hey, Michael, this is amazing. Oh my God. Isn't it incredible? It's fantastic. You're so bored if you're a genius.
These are cerebral people, unemotional, and this shape seemed to be fashionable, yet nothing sexual or carnal.
This one is my favorite one for sure.
Yeah, this one we've seen. What we've done, Michael suggested to go a little more beefy. Michael felt that just to...
Michael?
Well, yeah.
The costume designer?
They wear it on their costume.
They're so big and they wear it on their costume.
Designer suggested that?
It looked a little puny.
It's a good suggestion.
What the hell's happening?
Come on.
There was much more rough and organic feeling to the Romulans, that barbaric feeling that I wanted them to have, more warlike. One day I was at a flea market and I saw a rack of beautiful, beautiful fabric that had been pieced together, almost quilted, and it just seemed very Romulan to me. And I spoke with the two guys who were running this booth, and they said, well, the fabric is something that we make in Bali. I had these young men go back to Bali and produce all the Romulan clothes for us, making the fabric and then putting them together to my specs. We also had shoes made by them. It was a distant but very successful collaboration. Anyway, I think it all looks pretty good. We'll see how it looks when I finally get to see the film.